everyone, it's Morgyn from For the Love of Paper, and I am doing a 12 by 12 layout using this month's kits from Kitaholic Kits. This is my second project for the month, and I'm doing a different sort of a layout today. I'm kind of scrap lifting myself. Sometime last year I did a layout similar to this, and I had that in mind for some reason and decided to sort of copy it. I'm using 5 photos, and they are of Roman's first birthday. We kind of did a little bit of a cake smash thing for him, and I don't generally use more than 1 or 2 photos on a layout. I just always find that lots of photos is just too cluttered, it's too busy, I don't know where to look, and I just generally don't like it. But for this one, because they're black and white and they're all very much the same, I didn't mind so much. And yeah, so that's what we're going with here. So I cut my photos into a few different sizes. There's a 3x3, 3x2, a little tiny one that's about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And I made some like long square and some long tall and thin. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. And then I cut out some pattern paper of similar-ish sizes. And initially for this layout, I did want to go edge to edge with what I do, but I end up sort of changing that and doing a bit of a bigger border around the page, which you'll see in a minute. So I had laid out all my photos where I thought I might want them, then cut down some pieces of paper that I thought I was going to use, and I do use all of these, and I think I add in maybe 1 more than what I cut, and I just trimmed my photos a smidge. And as you can see, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a grid layout, kind of. It's 3 rows, and then there's no real columns. The columns are sort of all haphazard, kind of, I suppose, like bricks, like brickwork, I guess. And this is when I decided, excuse my big fat head, this is when I decided I'm going to leave a border which is about 3 centimeters. So half of this layout is done in inches, half of this layout is done in centimeters. So sometimes it takes a bit of me fiddling around to get it to fit just right. And God, all my grey hair, I don't see that part of my head very often, so that's very sad. I could see all of that. Anyway, tangent. So this is when I decided I wanted to leave a centimetre border between each photo or pattern paper. So I was trying to measure that out and get the pieces to fit in as to the ones that I'd cut. Because I'd already cut into these pages, I sort of just trimmed off like the rest of it. That's kind of how I was working. And yeah, just measuring out. So I don't normally measure much on my pages, but this layout there was a lot of measuring and checking and making sure everything was just right so that it all fit on the page. And then I just trimmed these down so that they were 3 inches. So each of my rows was 3 inches, I'm pretty sure. And then the rest just sort of fitted in as they were. And I had trouble with that little tiny one off to the side there. It didn't quite look right there because it was too small compared to the other photos. So I do end up moving that up to the top right, and I end up putting it on that pattern piece of paper, which I'm pretty sure I do in a minute. So now I'm just measuring up the last of these couple of bottom pieces. I end up using that branding strip with the hearts on it to fill in a little gap on that left hand side. I was going to use the ice cream one, but I think the blue hearts just looked a little bit better, not quite so many colors. And now it's time to start sticking it all together. I'm actually looking for my eraser at the moment and I couldn't find it. So I just used the end of this pencil. It's almost got no rubber left on it. But yeah, I just went around taping each piece down and rubbing out all the little marks. And this process did take me a little bit of time. The whole layout took me exactly 49 minutes. It was smack bang on. No second over, not a second under, 49 minutes. And I did stop part the way through to deal with some kids here. They were, I don't know what they were doing. Oh, one of them was pulling all the stuff out of my shelf. So I did stop to deal with that at one point. But otherwise, 49 minutes, which is not too bad for a layout. Then I decided I wanted to move this piece over instead of having another strip on the end. I decided I'd put the strip in the middle, and of course the planes have to fly over when I'm doing a voiceover, as it happens almost every single time. I can't win. No matter what time of day I try and do my voiceover, they always happen to fly over. Can't catch a break. And then this little tiny strip, I really should have just moved the other photo over and done a bigger piece at the other end, but at least this gives a little bit more, another pattern to the page, I guess, what I wanted to say. And fitting this piece in here. And this is kind of a little bit repetitive, this part, trimming and cutting and trimming and cutting, before I get to the embellishments. Okay, so I've got sorry, I get all my embellishments out, and I knew I remember seeing that celebrate word in the box, and I wanted to use that because it was a birthday. It is a birthday layout, and this is when I decided to put that little photo up the top. I thought I'd done it earlier, but it fits on that little piece just perfectly. And then that big empty space at the top is good for the celebrate, which is kind of, I don't know what my title is, if it's the celebrate, or I do some words down on the gold floral bit at the bottom. I don't know what I should use for my title. I'm sure I will have decided by the time this video goes up, so you probably already know what the title of this layout is. And that little cake puffy sticker was so cute. I'm so glad there was a piece of cake on that puffy sticker sheet. And I ended up ripping that pink banner. I ripped the edge off, so the puffy sticker covered that little mistake up perfectly. Now, I do put the umbrella on this, and it probably seems a little bit strange, but literally a minute after we took all these photos, we took, I don't know, a ton of photos of him eating this cake and whatnot. And we just packed everything up and we started to walk away from where we were, and it started to rain, like rain. So the umbrella was actually quite perfect for this one, that we timed it just nicely before the rain. And it was a lovely setting. We were staying at Turtle Beach Resort down on the Gold Coast because my husband was down there for work, and we went down with him, and it happened to be Roman's birthday, so this was a cake. The cake is one that I made because he's got a couple of food allergies, so I'd made it, but I didn't have very much with me, so it was a bit of a, like, not much cake decorating stuff, so it was a bit of a dodgy looking cake. But he enjoyed it and it tasted okay. So, and yeah, in the resort they had all these beautiful little garden areas, so we just went and sat him in a garden to do this, and yeah, it was just really nice. And I've got the smile on here, and I was going to put something else underneath it, another word, but nothing else really fitted nicely. And just sticking everything down, and the ticket up the top right hand corner says, "Today I'm excited about everything," because who isn't on their birthday? I mean, a 1-year-old's probably not that excited, but we'll go with it. And the little bunting with the little birdie. And what else do we add on here? That's a little ticket there. So some of my embellishments do go out of the grid, which is what I wanted. So it wasn't like the layout's square, but things sort of flow off the sides a little bit. And then, why am I doing that? Oh, that's right. I wanted to, oh, what am I doing? I forgot that I'd done this bit. Oh, a little wood veneer arrow. Where do I put that? Over there. Kind of becomes a little embellishment cluster up in that corner. And then I swap that puffy heart, and then I end up swapping it out again for a blue puffy heart to make the eye and smile. And then I wanted to write out one, so I used the letters from some of the words, dance and joy, but the O was too big and it kind of annoyed me. So we had O-N-E, but the O was just too big, and I just kept looking at it, and it really, it annoyed me a lot. So I ended up taking that off, and I decided to be a little bit tricky or sneaky with how I fix it, which I'm going to do now. I see the word awesome over the side, and I'm like, oh, O-M-E, how can I turn that M into an N? So I just snipped the little middle bit out and joined the two sides together and made it into a 1. And I think that looks 100 times better than the other one that I'd written in there before. And then I also had my green glitter in 3 little places across the page for the visual triangle. And then I go and add my journaling in, which I do in a moment, I think. And I think that's pretty much this layout done. So I just journal about what I have already told you, where we were, what we were doing, and how it rained, and that's it. So thanks for watching, guys, and be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and also head over to Kitaholic Kits and see what they've got over there. Bye.